Yeah, the ruins of the stone fort, the American Civil War, with an awesome view as well. It was a beautiful morning here in Maryland. Just across the river is Harper's Ferry, and I am going to be hiking the Maryland Heights Trail today. But along with that, I'm going to be hiking also it's called the Stone Fort Trail, which is up there as well. And along that trail is lots of Civil War history. Of course, if you know anything about the Civil War here in this part of the world, this part of the country, Harper's Ferry was a very key location, exchanged hands several times. But we'll talk about some of the history as we hike this trail. A lot of armaments were put up there, batteries and cannons, and there's a fort up there as well. So we're gonna explore that as we hike that trail. I've known about this trail for a little bit, and it's kind of been wanting to do it. So beautiful day here in February to do this. It's supposed to be the 60s today. So all right, well, we'll quit yapping and get packed up and do that trail. I'm making two videos at the same time here. I'm also making a video for the Maryland Heights Trail, because you guys start on the Maryland Heights Trail to get to the Stone Fort Trail, but we'll talk about that later. All right, let's get going. I do want to quick point out too as well that usually people access this trail from the railroad bridge over there. There's a pedestrian bridge right next to it, but that got destroyed when a train derailed this past winter, so there is parking here along what's called Sandy Hook Road across the river. So that's where I parked today. So just want to quick mention that. A lot of times that people hike this trail, they start over from Harper's Ferry, but that's not possible right now. All right, let's get up to the trailhead. It's some pretty awesome views out here, because we did just come up this part of the trail here. And all along the trail they do have some informational boards about the history here. This one is seen better days, you can barely read it. There's Stonewall Jackson. But the main reason for the fortifications up here is largely due to Stonewall Jackson. If you're not familiar with who he is, he was a famous Confederate general. But he, just prior to the Battle of Antietam, he had captured Harper's Ferry, and 22,000 federal troops surrendered to him. That was the largest number of federal troops surrendering to anybody up until World War II, actually. Then, if I got the information correct there. So he captured Harper's Ferry, and of course then just a couple days later was the Battle of Antietam. And so because of that, the North, in order to defend Harper's Ferry in the future, they built a number of fortifications and battery positions up here, which we'll be seeing those, or what's left of them. Still making our way up, and up. Hasn't been too steep yet, but it does get a lot steeper. You have to imagine there's Civil War soldiers having to hike up here, and we're not even up where the stone fort is. And they had to lug cannons up here. I forget how much the one cannon weighed. The one cannon up here was called a 100-pounder. It could fire 100-pound shells for over 2 miles. And the cannon itself weighed, I forget, a number of tons. And they had to bring all that stuff up this mountain. Of course, they probably used horses and stuff, but the poor horses. So, I think, if I remember reading correctly, Lincoln himself came to visit these fortifications, and he only made it so far up the mountain before he got too winded and couldn't continue on. So it just shows how steep this terrain gets. Also, right ahead of us is the next point of interest here. This is still on the Maryland Heights Trail, but this is where the Naval Battery was located. Yeah, they do have a little information thing for it up there. So you can see the dugout position up here. I think this is one of the first armament positions they put in. I think they brought, it's called a Naval Battery because I think they were smaller cannons if I remember, and they actually had sailors up here. Let's walk out here. And they would have had a view of Harper's Ferry from up here. Most likely without all the trees, but right down there is Harper's Ferry, so they could fire these large guns down there. Oh, I see the cemetery up there. I made a video up there last summer or last fall. Cool. So just to think, this used to be a bunch of Civil War soldiers up here. Now it just kind of looks like this, but you can still see, you know, the embankments and stuff that they dug out up here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, just down there is where we were, but I do have a nice informational board here. Of course, you can pause the video to read all that, but it does mention this is the first Union fortifications on Maryland Heights, built in May of 1862. This is before the Battle of Antietam and Stonewall Jackson's first advance up here. Yeah, these were rushed from the DC Navy Yard with 300 sailors and Marines. Of course, in September of 1862, Jackson captured these guns, this position, and Harper's Ferry. And afterwards, the Union built it up quite a bit more, added more forts and guns up here. Of course, right down there was just our Naval Battery position, and there's a little indentation in the ground here. According to this, it was a powder magazine. So they kept the the black powder for the cannons over here. And I think later in the war, they didn't use this as a cannon position anymore, but they did use it as a place to keep ordnance or to keep the weapons and the powder. All right, gotta keep going. So there is a split in the trail here, not too far above that Naval Battery. If you go right, that is the Maryland Heights Trail continuation. And this little Blue Blaze Trail is the Stone Fort Trail, which takes you to a lot more cool Civil War history. But I'm not going to take this part of the trail. If you continue on the Maryland Heights Trail, there's another entrance to the Stone Fort Trail. It kind of loops up, it goes up, loops up the mountain, and it comes back this way. So I'm gonna enter it up further at the upper part of the loop. And then hopefully, if all goes well, I'll come back this way. So that is the plan. So we'll continue on this way for now. And as promised, here is the other end of the loop for the Stone Fort Trail. Of course, the Maryland Heights Trail continues on down that way. It'll go downhill to the overlook, and the Stone Fort Trail goes up this way. So if you're hiking the Maryland Heights Trail, it's downhill. If you're going to Stone Fort, it's going to keep on going uphill. And like I said, I am hiking the Maryland Heights Trail here as well, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this hike, go down the overlook. You've probably already seen that video already though. And then I'll come back and meet you up here. For me, it'll be a little bit. For you, it'll just be a couple seconds. So I'm going to finish this hike, take a little break at the overlook, and I'll meet you right back here in a couple seconds. All right, so as promised, we are back at the start of the Stone Fort Trail. Just came back up from the Maryland Heights, and that is a view. That is worth a hike. Come up here all just by itself if you ever get a chance to. Let me get out the shade there. Yeah, it's heating up too. Got my hoodie off. I'm sweating. Kind of weird to be sweating in like early February. Should be snow in the ground and in the 30s, but it's gonna be like 65 today, like I said. All right, well, I just took a little break because I had to hike up from the Maryland Heights overlook, and now we'll head on up to the Stone Fort Trail. And I think the first site coming up here will be the site of the 30-pounder guns. So I'm looking forward to this. Like, this will all be new for me now. All right, let's get going. Quit yapping and start hiking. Yeah, the trail just keeps going up and up and up. Whew. You get a whole lot more respect for these soldiers back in the day. Had to hike up here. Man, I think we're soon at the top of the ridge. Won't be as steep up there. Alright, so right here is the next set of fortifications. Pretty sure this is where the 30-pound guns were kept. Of course, you can see the earthworks here. You know, they would dug these out. It would give them protection from, you know, advancing forces coming up the mountain. Man, that trail was a butt whooper. Imagine having to charge up this hill to try to take these guns, this fortification. Man. Do have a sign here. Yeah, these were the 30-pound guns, so your typical cannons. Yeah, you can read that. Pause that if you want to read that. 30-pound guns. Wow. Of course, these trees wouldn't have been there back then. They would have cleared all these trees out so they could fire down on enemy forces approaching Harper's Ferry from the south. All right, we'll walk up in here in a moment. Check these fortifications out a little bit. Yeah, you can see how the earthworks go all the way up there. And all the way around here. And the guns would have been pointing out that way. Let's take a walk around these earthworks. This is really cool to me. There's no guns and stuff up here anymore, but you know, we're walking where during the Civil War men walked countless times. Soldiers and so there are 6 guns up here, 6 cannons. Up here is looks like a cellar hole. This is probably where they probably had like a little small little fort or enclosure here, because the men would stay up here, you know, to man these guns at all times. And so this is probably where they had like a little, I don't know what you call it, fort type thing, where they slept and stayed. Maybe this is where they kept some of the powder and ammunition. It's time to sit down and eat a Snickers bar, get a little more energy. Still got a little more uphill to go, because I'm sitting in a spot where who knows how many you know, Union soldiers sat as well to take a break and eat a snack as well. Just in an entirely different situation. All right, well, the 100-pound gun is coming up next, and we got a little bit more uphill climbing to go. All right, so we'll continue on, and you can see got a little more uphill to go. But as one of my viewers says, onwards and upwards. Just kind of what this is. Onwards and upwards. But I'm loving this hike. I love this kind of history where you can just like walk and sit in places where, you know, like historical figures did in the past. You don't have to see it from a fenced off area or in a museum. You can just come out here and be right where they were and see the remnants of their efforts out here. It's really neat. At least I think so. So I'm looking forward to getting up to the next site is the 100-pound gun. I think there's just one of those up here. And then beyond that is the stone fort where the main Union encampment was up here. Looking forward to that too. I'm looking forward to everything on this trail. All right. Well, I just got done saying I like everything about this hike. Everything but the uphill. But it is what it is. Onwards and upwards. Even up here, we're not at the next position yet, but you can see lines of earthworks even here. Like here's another set. Some earthworks right here. Huh. Yeah, check that out. I wonder if this was another one of the ordnance posts where they kept some of the ammunition and black powder. There's no sign here for anything, but I'm going to assume that that's what it is. I just scared up some deer out there. Check that out. That's the one that didn't run off. Cool. That's my cell phone right there. Not quite sure if she knows I'm here. There she goes. There were a bunch of others here. I'm not sure where they went. Alright, we'll let them go. Oh, now she sees me. Yeah, she's still there, and there's the other one over there. They haven't ran off yet. Maybe they're just kind of used to people being up here. There they are not. There she goes. This one's just chilling out here. Alright. Well, we're gonna leave these guys alone. Oh, there's the third one over there. Wow, you guys are just hanging out here. You know, I'm gonna stop and take your picture here, since you're posing so nicely for me. Yeah, these deer are just not running away. I wonder if that's the mama. I wonder if these are her two fawns from this past summer. But wow, they are just not. Hello there. Well, that was a real treat. I mean, seeing deer is nothing overly special. You often see deer out in the woods, but they almost always run off at the first sight of you. Those just kind of just hung out there. Not sure how well they showed up on the video, but they were not that far from me at all. Maybe, 30 feet away at some points, or 20 feet. So that's pretty cool just to see them not to be afraid of you, really. I'm guessing there's no hunting here. This is the Harper's Ferry National Historic Site, even this part up here. So I'm guessing they're used to not having to worry about people. That was pretty cool, getting up close to wildlife. So even without the Civil War history, this is turning out to be a really beautiful hike. Got some views, some cool rock formations. Had the deer just down there. You can imagine a bunch of Union soldiers hanging out in those rocks. Following the river up there, cool. Trail continues on. So here's another one of these, what look like cellar holes, which I'm guessing are ordnance depots. From I think I saw on another map. Yeah, there's actually two of them here. There's one. There's a pit right there and one over there, so two little posts here. Might get some views up here, it looks like, looking out there. Alright, so we got another site up here. I'm seeing a little information board. Looks like there might be some stonework to this one. Let's check out the board here. I wonder if this is the 100-pound gun. Yeah, this is it, the 100-pounder. Heaviest and highest. And it would have sat right up top there. Wow. Let's see. Men from the 1st Massachusetts Heavy Artillery hauled this 9,700-pound gun tube up 1,200 vertical feet to this platform. 200 to 500 men were required to haul one of these guns up this mountain. Sheesh. Of course, you can pause the video and read the rest of that, but wow. You can see the size of the gun in relation to the men there. But it did give them a commanding view of the area. Wow. So that huge gun would have sat right here. Of course, you got a picture that most of these trees wouldn't have been here either. They would have been able to see over there. Clear across this whole area. Wow. Beautiful place to be posted as well, if you're a soldier. Wow, that is heavy duty getting that thing up here. Well, this spot up here is beautiful, where this almost, 10,000-pound cannon stood. Yeah, imagine hauling that up this mountain. All right, but the main event is on its way. We're up here, more ways is the stone fort, is where the main encampment was. The fort. So I'm looking forward to that. That's what I first saw on Google Maps when I was researching this area. Only found out later that all these other gun positions were up here. So I'm really loving this. All right, let's get to that fort. I get the feeling we're getting close because here's a stone wall. A nice flat area down there. I know somewhere around here there was where a lot of the soldiers camped, just below the fort, but got a nice stone wall there, so I'm thinking we're getting close to something. Oh yes, up here is what we're looking for, the stone fort, what's left of it. You can kind of make out the edges of it. Corner of the building, here's a wall. Wow. There's a view up here as well. Yeah, you can see the, goes all the way up there. Comes back. Wow, this is amazing. Alright, so this is what I love about doing YouTube, going to places like this. Wow, you can see the stonework. And then you got the view out there. Wow, look at that. That is, I'm going to say it again, that is amazing. That is awesome. Wow. They do have an information board here. And that's what's called the Stone Fort. To command the Maryland Heights. Of course, you can pause that, read all of it if you want. Wow. Of course, it shows a little plan of it. So here you can really see a view of that stone wall of the fort. We were just in there. There's that information board, but here you can see, wow. And down here is a whole nother section of it. You can clearly see the stonework. I want to get a view of this wall from down below here. Carefully. Oh yeah, there you can see all the stonework. Wow, that is amazing. And that view. I'm gonna find a place to sit here and take a little break, I think, because we'll explore a little bit more yet. Alright, so quite a few more people have showed up at the stone fort up there. It got a little noisy up there, but we're just down below in what's called the interior fort. And I'll turn you around and you can see some of the earthen walls around here of this fort. Right up there is where all the stone fort was. Here's another one of those powder magazines for storage down in there. This is pretty cool. Lots of history up here. So I'm making my way back now, and there'll be a few more points of interest on the way back, I think. But one good thing is it's all downhill from here. See, here's another stone wall. Wow. Way up there is where we just were, but even along here, there's an old stone wall that comes all the way down, built during the Civil War, 1860s. And I think we're coming down to what they call the exterior fort. Oh, there's a sign, breastworks. I think this is where a lot of the men stayed. Actually, there's a sign right here. Let's see this, what this says. Yeah, exterior fort. There's my shadow in the way. So once again, you can pause the video and read those things if you want to. We're gonna keep on heading down. Back down to the Jeep. And the trail going back down is looks a lot wider and more level. I'm thinking that this is the way most people come up. All the people I saw up there came up this way. I kind of did things backwards, but that's the way I usually do it. All right, well at this point I think I'm gonna say goodbye here. I'm gonna make my way back down to the junction with the Maryland Heights Trail. Be a little bit of a hike. But I got some other stuff planned today. There's another Civil War fort I plan on going to, Fort Duncan, and hopefully maybe something else in that area as well. We'll see how much daylight I end up with here. But anyway, this is awesome trail to hike if you love history and nature. It is. There's a lot of uphill, so just be aware of that. You know, bring plenty of water, wear the right kind of shoes and stuff like that. The typical advice. So anyway, I absolutely loved going up there. I've been looking forward to going up to that stone fort for some time now. Today was a great day to do it. All right, once again, thanks for coming along. And as I said in my other video, thanks also to those who support me on Patreon. That link is down below in the description. It allows me to make these longer trips from home and come to awesome places like this and share them with you. So, all right, I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully at Fort Duncan, just up the river a little bit. Thanks for watching.